Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for the National Family Support Network's National Forum FRC Tour. I will be your moderator, and my name is LaDonna Collins. I am the Senior Training and Standards Implementation Manager with the National Family Support Network. Today, I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce you to the Liberation Center, and it's the Family Resource Center in Richmond, Virginia. But what we will do is we will go over an overview of family resource centers across the United States. Then we will go do a virtual site visit with Liberation Center. We will have a Q&A, and then we will close out, and then we invite you to join us for our main event. So, thousands of family resource centers have emerged organically across the country, yet their existence is still largely under the radar as America's best kept secret. A family resource center is a community or school-based welcoming hub of support and opportunities designed to support families to be strong and successful. They may be community-based, like the one that we're going to see today, and like the image on the left of a family resource center in Vermont. Or they may be school-based, like the image you see on the right from Kentucky. They may be in a rural setting, like the image you see on the left from Colorado, or in an urban setting, like the image on the right of a family resource center in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in New York City. Whichever they are, FRCs work with families with an approach that is not only two-generational, but multi-generational, strengths-based, and family-centeredness. Each of these components is important. Multi-generational, let's think about it of like, have you heard of a two-generational or two-gen work? Well, family support is original, not just two-gen, but multi-gen work, as programs work with children, parents, and grandparents as well. Let's look at it being strengths-based because we see families as having strengths that we want to support
Hi
them.
there. We can't see the slides. We can't see the slides. You're on the first slide. It's not on presenter mode.
Okay, let's pause for a second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see what's going on. Okay, can you see the slides now?
I think it should be working.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you all so very much. I do apologize about that. So let's just go ahead and start over from where we were, just to give you a better understanding, and we'll be good to go. So as I was stating, we're going to give you an overview of family resource centers across the United States, what they look like, who they are. Then we're going to do a virtual tour of the Liberation Family Resource Center in Richmond, Virginia. We're going to have a Q&A, and then we're going to invite you to join us at our regular session. So thousands of family resource centers have emerged organically across the country, yet their existence is largely under the radar as America's best kept secret. A family resource center is a community or school-based welcoming hub of support, services, and opportunities designed to support families to be strong and successful. They may be community-based, like the image on the left of a family resource center in Vermont, or they may be school-based, like the image you see on the right from Kentucky. Wherever they're based, they may be in a rural setting, like the image you see on the left in Colorado, or in an urban setting, like the image on the right of a family resource center in the Bronx in New York City. Wherever they're based, family resource centers work with families with an approach that is not only two-generational, but multi-generational, strength-based, and family-centeredness. Each of these concepts is very important. Multi-generational, so let's think about multi-generational. Have you heard of two-generational or two-gen work? Well, family support is the original, not just two gen, but multi gen work. As a programs work with children, parents, and grandparents. Let's think of strengths based because we see families as having strengths that we want to support them to build upon. And then family centeredness because everything we do has families at the center. They're designed for all families, not only low income or highly challenged families. So the support they provide is non stigmatized, making it more readily accessible. Programming is provided at no cost or low cost for participants. And the image to the right is of a family success center in New Jersey. There are 57 family success centers, all of the 21 states counties. Each county has at least one, and typically for one, it's in a challenged county because again, the belief is that all families could benefit from access to support for two of the most important roles we have as adults, being parents and being spouses and being partners. Two of the most important roles we could have, for which we typically receive no support or no training. Hence the value of the universal access to family resource centers. The strengthening families protective factors. They come from the center of the study of social policy. Research has shown that these 5 protective factors increases family stability, enhances child development, and reduces child abuse and neglect. So, as we're working with families, we want to support them to build these protective factors because we know that they make it a positive difference. There is no dedicated federal funding for FRCs, unlike Head Start, home visiting, or even after school care programs. Yet, there are now more than 3,000 FRCs working with more than 2,000 people annually. Why are so many public and private funders at the state, county, city, and community levels choosing to invest in FRCs? So, simply put, FRCs are just a good idea. They are cost effective, highly adaptable for various communities, be they urban, rural, or ethnic, and they have demonstrated more successful outcomes through multiple external evaluations. As conveniently located hubs because they bundle and they co-locate many services that may be familiar to you, such as a home visiting program, evidence-based parenting education, health screening, playgrounds, fatherhood programs, family counseling, and food banks. So now I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing my friend, Marcel Boyd. Marcel is the executive director of the Liberation Center in Richmond, Virginia. So I am so excited that today we will be enlightened by all things Liberation Center. So Marcel, please take it away.
Thank you so much, LaDonna, for that introduction. And thank you all for joining today. And hopefully we can shed a little bit of light on the community-based family resource centers that we have and how we operate here at the Liberation Family Resource Center, and LaDonna said, in Richmond, Virginia. The Liberation Center tour awaits you. So LaDonna, you want to take us on a virtual tour?
Sure.
Welcome to the Liberation Family Resource Center, where hope, healing, and help meet families and individuals in Richmond, Virginia. Located right here at 5501 Midlothian Turnpike, this center is a beacon of support for our community. Our thrift store
Visuals not showing, LaDonna.
not only offers incredible bargains, but also serves as a lifeline to many, providing essential items to those in need.
Hello, and welcome to the Liberation Family Resource Center. It's a great day at Liberation. My name is Marcel Boyd, and I am honored to serve as the Executive Director here at the Liberation Family Resource Center. While we will
we can see the video.
we are so excited to take you on this virtual tour and give you the behind-the-scenes look at the heart of what we do.
You guys.
We can
So-
hear it, but we can't see the video.
Thank you for your patience. My audio is acting up, so give me a second. Let's see if we can pull it up now. Thank you guys for your patience.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Liberation Family Resource Center, where hope, healing, and help meet families and individuals in Richmond, Virginia. Located right here at 5501 Midlothian Turnpike, this center is a beacon of support for our community. Our thrift store, which you see in front, not only offers incredible bargains, but also
LaDonna?
serves as a lifeline to many, providing essential items to those in need.
Okay, wait.
Hello, and welcome to the Liberation Family Resource Center. It's a great day at Liberation. My name is Marcel Boyd, and I am honored to serve as the Executive Director here at the Liberation Family Resource Center. While we would love to have you all join us in person, we are so excited to take you on this virtual tour and give you the behind-the-scenes look at the heart of what we do. So let's get started, and I'm excited to show you the spaces where lives are transformed and futures are rebuilt. Welcome to our Liberation Family Resource family, and thank you for joining us today.
I'm getting ready to get my keys and getting in my own place with my family. And, you know, I really applaud the Family Resource Center here at Liberation Church.
Here in our Family Resource Center, individuals and families can access a variety of services, from job training to educational workshops. Right next door, we have our playroom, a safe, inviting space where children can engage while their parents are receiving services. We believe in supporting the whole family, ensuring everyone feels comfortable and cared for during their time with us. Next, we step into our auditorium, one of the most versatile spaces in the center. This room comes alive with community events hosting everything from RVA League for Safer Streets basketball and soccer leagues to concerts, community partner conferences, and resource fairs. It's a place for our community to gather, grow, and celebrate. Whether it's youth sports leagues or wellness workshops, the auditorium provides a central place for connection.
What's happening, everybody? This is Robert from RVA League for Safer Streets. Welcome everybody to show up tonight. We're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 to 10 at Liberation Church, 5501 Midlothian Turnpike. And we're happy that the partnership with Liberation Church, they have been so understanding of the population we're trying to serve. We're trying to decrease gun violence and the murder rate in the city of Richmond.
Hello, I am Sergeant Cushenberry, RPD, as you can clearly see. I just wanted to just really quick touch base with you about the importance of having partnerships in your community. We partner with the Liberation Family Center here at Liberation Church, and it has been absolutely amazing. Families come in with all types of needs, may it be employment needs, may it be trauma needs, and we have our resources right here in-house. We've helped families after a tragic homicide, any aggravated assault, or just needing help with after they have a baby, needing a job, better education. Any kind of resource that we have come across, we're able to pull on our partnership, Liberation Family Resource Center, and it has been truly a blessing to our community.
Here is our food pantry, where we serve over 200 individuals and families each week with dignity and respect. Our pantry is stocked through community partnerships, and we work tirelessly to ensure that no one in our community goes hungry. Clients get to shop, and with the help of our dedicated volunteers, they can pick up nutritious food that suits their needs.
Hey, my name is Sonny. I'm an associate pastor here at Liberation Church over outreach, which includes our food pantry. We serve every Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. We average about 200 to 250 households per week, about 900 to 1,100 individuals in those households. And we also have spread a web into our community, couple miles radius here of Liberation. We go into a couple of neighborhoods. We've got 3 neighborhoods that we've adopted. We have a presence in the schools that these youth go to as well. We want to meet families where they are, to bring resources with them, to build relationships with them, to have them trust us so we can better serve them for what they need.
One of the unique services we offer is our on-site laundromat. Clean clothes are a simple but essential necessity for everyday life. This space allows families to take care of laundry free of charge while they're here receiving other services.
So I'm a part of Liberation Counseling, which is a part of the Family Resource Center. We provide substance abuse counseling and mental health counseling. Myself on staff being a certified substance abuse counselor, we offer IOP, which is intensive outpatient programming. And we also have individualized counseling, and we have expanded to also having residential services that we have a small house to house people who are in substance abuse treatment with us. So those are the things that we offer on the substance abuse side. Also on the mental health side, we offer skill building services. So all of those are to meet the services that that are provided through the Family Resource Center. All of our staff are certified, board certified counselors and therapists. So we have a high level of care and working with the clients and the people that come through the Family Resource Center to get them back grounded and focused on the priorities in their life and being productive citizens back out in society.
Down this hallway is our kids zone, home to our commercial gym that also has showers and dance studio. Physical activity is a key part of healthy development, and our space encourages kids to stay active, build friendships, and have fun. In partnership with a community partner, Scared Heart, we offer dance classes and even host birthday parties for our families to keep our youth engaged and active all year round. One of the many partnerships we are proud of is with the YMCA. By working together, we're able to expand our offerings in youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility, creating a larger support system for our families. Our tour comes full circle as we return to the thrift store. More than just a place to find great deals, our thrift store serves as a source of emergency items for clients in need. From clothing to household essentials, we ensure that those facing difficult times have access to the items they need. At the Liberation Family Resource Center, we're more than just a service provider. We're a community that believes in uplifting one another, sharing resources, and creating lasting change. Thank you for joining us on this virtual tour, and we hope to see you here soon.
Thank you so much for joining that virtual tour with us. And I see some questions in the chat box, and we'll get to them at the Q&A. And I know there was a little choppy. So LaDonna, I guess at some point we could probably get out the video link to the teams that are on today. But here, and I see you all like the values in the background. So here at the Liberation Family Resource Center, we are really trying our best to make sure that we create a one-stop shop where we do it with dignity and respect. And we are a resource hub for everybody that we serve. We have really been grateful for this space. So it's 138,000 square foot space, where in most human services, you're giving about 5 to 6 different places to go to for one need to get solved. Whereas here in the Liberation Family Resource Center, what we would like to do is be able to solve for all of your needs under one roof. So we want to really make sure that all of our families are taken care of as we're thinking about child well-being opposed to child welfare. And I know that we have a slide that we will get up on the screen as well. And we can go through the process so you all can learn more about our community base. But we are essentially in the hub. Here we go. So our core beliefs is for families to come to thrive at Liberation Resource Center. So most of our families that come in, they are surviving and not thriving. And so we want to make sure that our families are healing and they are able to go through the community services. And then we serve nearby neighborhoods, as you saw when Sunny was talking about the neighborhoods and the outreaches that we do in partnership with the church. So the church, I see one of the questions was, what's the partnership? We have a partnership. We are housed in the same building. So we do a lot of things together to make sure that we support generations living under one roof. And we respect the diverse family definitions and structures. Now, I think we're still having some issues with the advancement of the slides.
Thank you guys for being patient. Pull it up for you. What about now? Can you guys see it now?
It's just not advancing. It's not just one slide.
Okay.
No worries. If not, I can continue.
We're going to get it up. I'm just not sure what's quite going on. Okay, can you guys see it now?
It's still not advancing.
Okay.
So as we continue to work through the process, our key principles, as you all can see, is that we do family-centered plans. So we make sure that all of our families understand that they're in the middle and we do it with them in mind. So the plans are tailored to each family's unique situation and driven by their priorities and strengths. We collaborate with the families using our lived experience leaders, which we'll talk about a little bit in a moment. But we make sure that we collaborate with them in partnership with other partners also in the community. We're resource oriented. So we identify and utilize both internal and external resources to support the family goal. And we're flexible and we make sure we respond pretty much immediately. So all plans can evolve as the family needs or circumstances change. So they may come in with one goal in mind, but it may end up being a couple of different ones that are solved for. And lastly, we are confidential and respectful because we do realize that trust is a big deal for most of our families. So we want to make sure that we structure and have the approach of the Family Resource Center effectively support families to achieve their own goals and definitions of success, providing them with tools and resources necessary for sustainable change. So people oftentimes ask, how did we get here? What did we do to get here? So in partnership with Families Forward Virginia, which I think our team was on, we were granted the award to be able to start the Family Resource Center here. And they conducted a census track where we literally found out that we have percentages of our families and communities that what we serve. And you all will be able to see a little bit more of this when we get the actual slides out to you all. But we serve about 40% of our people identify as Hispanic or Latino. And we have 30% of people that we serve are in the Black or African American community. And to date, compared to Virginia's state average, only 8.9% of those individuals are foreign born or compared to the state average. So ESL is a big thing. So we really built our program with the community in mind. Hence, we were able to hire our Family Success Navigator, which is a Spanish-speaking individual, and myself as the executive director as being of African-American descent. We also learned that 59.46% of the people that we serve are under the poverty rate, 200% under the poverty rate here in the actual MSA that we were able to go out to do the census track on. And 17.1 of the people make $75,000 compared to the state average of the 53%. So as you can see, we have a lot of disparities when it comes down to finances and then the communities that we serve. And in education, only 28.3 of the people we serve 25 years or older have less than a high school diploma. So with that, we built it. So where do we begin? We began with employment and financial stability, as that was what the census tract and the community told us. Educational support. So we offer workshops and empowerment workshops to make sure that people understand that we're going to educate them to get them to the next level. And we also have health and wellness activities and family activities and programming. So when we built it with the community. We did resource fairs, we did groups, we did listening sessions to ensure that we had everybody. And we also brought in our community leaders that do the same kind of work. So we had the Boys and Girls Club, the Salvation Army, the YMCA of Greater Richmond SCAN, two of our school communities, which is Swansboro Elementary and Richmond High School for the Arts, communities in school, which are supporting the school in the work that we do, and our Liberation Veteran Services, which is also a part of the Liberation organization. The current state of the Liberation Family Resource Center is that our top 3 needs assessments told us that employment and job training are a big deal, food insecurity, so we want to make sure that we get out, so that's why we partner with the church with the food pantry, and assistance with utilities and bills and the other expenses that our actual partners may not be able to afford. And that's a key note when it comes to language. We don't call our clients, we call them partners, because we partner with them and we walk along beside them. So what they told us and what statistics told us is 31% of our actual state is risking homelessness. 31% doesn't always have the food that they need to feed their families. 34% need heat and electricity bills to be paid, or they are overdue, and 31% are not employed. 19% do not have access to high school degree. 19% are in need of help for daycare for their children. 9% of transportation, and then our after-school program. We're really built with our lived experience leaders, and they actually, I oftentimes tell people, our lived experience leaders are actually the leaders that lead us, meaning the executive director and our family success navigator. So we have a lived experience leaders from housing and benefits coach to a financial empowerment coach. We have an outreach and family fund coach. We have a child well-being coach, health and wellness coach, and also workforce development coach. And we also have a fatherhood and family resiliency coach. And all of our coaches are coaches because we partner along with our partners, and we coach them and we motivate them and we continue them along the process, opposed to us taking the time to really do all the work for them. We navigate life with them. So we have in here a missional moment. And in this missional moment, we call them success stories. So you've seen the building, you've heard about all the things that we do. And so in January of this year, we had a partner come in and literally had just started to face homelessness and was about to be living in her vehicle. And when she approached the staff, we quickly started a family success plan with her, a comprehensive one, and to address her basic needs, such as housing. The mother of 5 was escaping domestic violence. She was also being evicted from her home, and she didn't know anything about what was going to happen in her future. During a coaching meeting, we were able to really understand and really start the process of finding out what the family's needs were. So between January and February and up to March, we had monthly coaching sessions. Actually, it was bi-weekly coaching sessions with her because of the level of a client that she was. She would be what we consider a tier 1 client, which gives a little bit more time and supports. And we ensured that her family success plans had the proper goals in place so we can move her through this continuum of care. She received medical assistance, Medicaid and TANF assistance. She was able to access our food pantry, the laundry services. She actually got car repair because we know that transportation was an issue, and she was the sole provider for all 5 of her kids. So we were able to get her car fixed for her so she can remain independent. We were able to get her domestic violence support from our support partner of Safe Haven, and also mental health services, emotional support, and psychological well-being through Liberation Counseling. With our local property owners in May of this year, we actually were able to find her a home. And through the help of Housing Families First, we were able to secure housing for her and her family, and they successfully moved in June. This is just one example of many missional moments that we have within the Family Resource Center. And you all saw the birthday party. So the birthday party that you all saw happening with Spider-Man and Ariel inside of it was actually for this particular family, where we transformed our dance studio with a community partner that does birthday parties for kids that are in need. So what is the role of a lived experience leader, or as we call them, Lex leaders? They are present and they're consistent. So they regularly attend our games, as you all saw and you heard us talk about in the video, RVA League for Safer Streets. We have a great partnership with them where we do diaper giveaways. So we have a diaper bank that we give, but this is just our one step for us to be able to have a conversation with these individuals that are coming in to play basketball. But these are our most vulnerable communities. And when I talk about vulnerable, I'm talking about 250 African-American males that are coming from our lowest marginalized communities in which we are serving them and we're building trust with them. So as you all see, our Lex leaders are attending those games regularly. They're building trust. They're also doing support and engagement. We know that's a tough community to serve. And as we continue to create that safe space, we're able to then ask them for more, meaning to get them to the other side of where they are and take them from surviving to thriving. We serve all 250 of them, but about 49 to 55 of them right now are in our fatherhood initiative program where they've asked for actual fatherhood parenting classes and to understand how to be a better father. So that's the empowerment and connections that we have, and we empower our community to move forward. So actually tonight, it's interesting that that's here. We actually have a Workforce Wonders that is going to be happening tonight in this space that we're in, where we'll be actually taking them through Create Your Winning Resume in partnership with the city of Richmond. We offer educational seminars every month on a Thursday for our individuals. So once you create a family success plan, our families actually have to go through their continuum for about 6 to 9 months, and we create goals for them. But as one of their requirements, they have to go into the educational sessions so they can do the learning that they need to get onto the other side. So some of the key takeaways that you all could take away from maybe our presentation and what we do here is our community reflection in our team. As you heard me say earlier, and Pilar's beside me, you just can't see her on screen, but you build your team based off of your community and what we have. Inclusivity, make sure that valuing diverse perspectives within your team to better understand and meet their needs. And then authenticity, building authentic connections with the communities by having team members who share similar lived experiences and backgrounds. Before every educational session, our lived experience leaders literally stand before them and tell them how they got to where they are. For instance, what brings to mind is one of our lived experience leaders that does housing and benefits. She literally starts out and says, "My name is Paula. I was homeless. I was escaping domestic violence. I've been divorced. I've lived on the couch. But now I work for a federal agency that supports all of you." And immediately when she does that, the entire room shifts and she builds a level of trust that she's never had before. So it gives us the opportunity to then have authentic, trustworthy conversations. So leveraging our lived experience leaders to drive impact is a big deal for us. So as you all can see, it also comes with selling stories. So sharing your personal stories and successes to inspire and guide them on their journey to ensure that all of your partners get the opportunity to be able to advocate for themselves and empower themselves. So with that being said, LaDonna, I'm gonna turn it over to you so we can go Q&A to make sure that any of the family resource centers that are on the phone today have the opportunity to ask us any questions that they may have.
Thank you so much, Marcel, and you all audience. We do apologize about the technical difficulties that you have experienced. What we will be doing is providing the PowerPoint presentation at the end of today's call. But let's look at and see if we've had any questions that we had come in. I would definitely love for us to be able to explore. So what year, one question that I found right away is, what year was the Liberation Center founded?
Interesting. 2022, and we were established originally in 2023. And Pilar was brought on as our family resource navigator / program director in 2023, April of 2023.
Wow. So actually just almost right at 2 years, you guys have been established.
Yes, right.
Oh, wow. And to see the strength and what you all have been able to do in those 2 short years is amazing. Another question that we have is, because it was shown during the video, what is the relationship between the Liberation FRC and the Liberation Church? So is that a connection? How do you keep those two separated? Can you just give us an understanding of that relationship, if any?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are definitely a core mission of everybody's welcome. We have a welcome community within our FRC. However, there's a faith community that resides in this building. And so in partnership, many of they're a very big outreach organization. So together we partner to go out into communities, and we find and we are able to explore families that they're already serving or families that may actually be a part of their congregation. But we're two completely separate different entities, and we serve together to be able to make a better impact and a greater good. So an individual does not have to be a part of the church in order to come and receive services, nor does the church. I mean, you have to go to the church in order to receive services from us as the FRC.
That's great. I love that you guys work in tandem, but you're also your own separate entity. I love that. So another question is, how many full-time and part-time employees do you have?
Two.
Two. Wait a minute.
So I say this, LaDonna, me and Pilar are full-time. However, our lived experience leaders, which are our team, they lead us. They do get a stipend. They are paid. However, when you think about the day-to-day operations and all that we do, and I would say in total, if you wanted to include them as part-time, we are about 9 strong.
Okay. Okay. And so while you all do a wealth of the work, they do your lead work. They're the ones that are in there day in and out working with the families. But you also, it seems like you bring a lot of partners in to support you. So having only 2 staff is not a bad thing, because you're utilizing the services outside in your community. Is that what you would say?
Well, when you say only having 2, we would love to expand the model of more people because we can help more people. But to your point, we are able to scale because we are very much of a resource orientation. So we find resources, we take the resources to them, or we bring them inside the space. So we are also able to maximize the time of us and the resource partner. So we try our best not to send an actual partner off to another resource. Instead, the resource comes here, and we set together with the family to make sure they get what they need. So for instance, we had an individual that was in the building the other day doing a family success plan, and he had signed his lease, but he didn't know that his keys were going to come. So before he left, the actual realtor brought them and dropped them off to him, and he had it all in one place. And he was able to leave here at 3 o'clock and go get a U-Haul and move his family out of a hotel. So we believe in bringing the actual resources to the building and being the resource hub and a one-stop shop.
And it seems like you all bringing the resources to the building has helped with that old adage of a family member or family coming to get a resource for you, and you send them a telephone number or you give them an address, and by the time they get there, either the person that you referred them to is no longer working there, or they're no longer in that building. So it seems like a resolution or a solution to the problem is bringing the resources in.
Yeah, so if you just looked at the video, our parking lot alone is a barrier. To have to walk all the way across our parking lot to the bus stop. So one thing that people will learn about me, I'm passionate about, I don't like locked doors. So most of the time when people are in crisis, they pull on a door and it's locked, they get immediately discouraged and they want to walk away. So we're very big on making sure that, one, we are present. And then once they walk through the doors, we create that type of resource connection for them on the spot so that we can give them hope. So if they're coming in crisis and hopeless, it gives them hope to think this is just not another thing. Because most of the time when they go to a human services provider, because of caseloads, and I want to encourage everybody, we get it. Caseloads are a big deal, but when you are all together in partnership, it makes it so much better for us, but it also really makes a believer in the actual process for our partners.
Wow. Thank you so much. We do have a couple more questions. So how do you get your funding?
Our funding is through the state. There we were awarded a grant, and actually Families for Virginia, which is on with us today, was our actual funder. So through the Department of Social Services. So we did go through the grant process, and we were awarded. We were one of their first in the state.
Well, congratulations. And you're the only one in Richmond, is that correct?
We are. We are.
Yeah. So another question, in the 8 to 9 month period, your participants are attending educational opportunities. Are you able to financially support them in a meaningful way?
Yes. Well, there's a couple of things that we have within our budget. We do have what's called a client benefit fund. So if they have some individual needs that are low-hanging fruit, a utility bill being paid, a phone bill being paid, a barrier to their success. As long as they are actively working within their family success plan, we will do a needs assessment to ensure that we can take care of it, and or connect them to family to resources. So, for instance, we use two organizations here in the city called the the City of Richmond Crisis Fund, and it's also ACTS. So they do the same similar kind of work, but they do all of the financial funding. So the thing is we have the opportunity to help in some ways, but we also maximize our resource partners to be able to also fund some of the things as well.
So speaking of the funding that you've set aside for the families that you work with, someone mentioned that car repair is a unique and needed service that many haven't heard that FRCs do. So is your car repair fund, is it included in that, or is that a relationship outside? Because I think the people want to know, we have parents that we work with, and I bet they'll be able to get to our FRC if they had a working car. So talk to us about that, please, Marcel.
Wow. So we actually have a partner. So our fund does help with that. Let's start with that. However, we have a partner that's a nonprofit mechanic. It's called Mechanics of Faith. And as he was doing statistics and building his nonprofit, he found that there were many cars that were left in a daycare center or on the side of the street. And real quick story, one of our partners was literally on the first day of school driving her kids, her two children. They were living in the car. We had been helping them, and we were resource navigating them. We were on the cusp of being able to get them into a place. And on her way to school on the first day, the car broke. We were immediately able to get the car over, get it into a hotel. And she was able to then, within 3 days, get through rapid rehousing here in the city and get into a shelter for her and her kids. She has a total of 6. Only 2 were living with her in the car. We got it over to them. We found out the car was no longer any good. However, they were able to help start the process of helping her fix the new other car that had been set in the parking lot at the daycare for 8 months. So it's because, and they also live. So a lot of our partners, we're very big on making sure that their mission and the way that they treat their partners are the same as the way we treat ours. As you all can see in our values, we believe in excellence, serving our community well, and generosity and kindness. Like, that's a big deal for us. So everything we do is in dignity and respect. So she literally was able to go to sleep the night that her car broke down, which was her house, because of the partnership that we have with our Mechanics of Faith.
So I would like to say relationships matter in your FRC, but more importantly, outside of your FRC. That's just something that we can keep. So another question got coming. So we have a lot of time for questions. So when starting your FRC, did you envision going into a space with the church? Question number 1. And then secondly, is your thrift store a part of the same campus?
So I'll answer the second one first.
Okay.
So yes, the thrift store is a part of the same campus. The thrift store is literally within walking distance out the front door, across the front of the parking lot, where we're able to actually help individuals. So we can call over, and it's called Liberation Thrift. So we're all under one roof and one umbrella. So did we seek the faith community? We didn't, but one of the things the faith community made a promise to the individuals when they started coming to this space was they were going to make this building a resource hub for all people, which meant that it did not necessarily have to be quote unquote faith that they believed in, but they wanted to just help the community. So I oftentimes tell people we are faith inspired, which is not faith based. It's very different because we live off of the same core principles of treating human beings like they are special and that they belong. And if
Oh,
that's the best way I can tell you that.
No, I love that because if you think about it, going to the thrift store, if anybody has been a part of a family coming in to get clothing, sometimes they don't feel that they are shopping with integrity. And it seems like you all make sure that when the families come in that you work with, that you give them integrity, you're kind, and you give them the honor. So we're so grateful for that. We have more questions coming in. So this is exciting, you guys. Thank you so very much. So here's another question. And this is a good question because we have people that is on the line. By the way, we have over 100 people that have joined us today. So kudos to you all. Another question. What advice do you have for beginning a resource center and building the community interest for that resource center, family resource center?
Well, Pilar is not on camera with me, but I'm gonna turn my table just a tad so she can help me with this one. But literally, I would say that we built the my advice that I would give is as you're building your family resource center is really do it with the community in mind. So you start out with a lot of surveys, a lot of listening sessions, a lot of community engagement. Because if I'm bringing something to you, it's nothing worse than telling you what your needs are when that's definitely not what it was. So we would have assumed that financial assistance would have been our top one. But actually, education, which will get you to financial stability, was something that we did, or after school programming, or daycare. So, no, people don't understand as we surveyed and we learned that a lot of our children in the communities that we serve are still at home when they should be in daycare and getting education, which will then free up mom and dad time to be able to go find a job, to get financially stable, to be able to move. It's just a continuum and all the barriers could be there. So my first thing that I can give to any family resource center, build it with community in mind. And every community is unique and different. It's not cookie cutter.
Yeah, and with what Marcel said, with the community in mind, you also have to be really patient. Being consistent and showing up, even when people don't come in the beginning, even when people aren't receptive, you need to be consistent because a lot of the trauma that our people in our community face is they don't trust that we're going to do anything. They don't trust that we're going to follow through. But if you keep showing up, you keep inviting, just be patient and keep doing it. Once they see that you're there and you're not going away, you're going to have a lot to do.
Yeah, and I would just say, Pilar brings up a very good point. Trust in our community because they've been here. And I tell people all the time, we're not even a photo op. So I take the time to make sure that they know we continue to show up, and we make sure that they know that we're going to love deeply, no matter if they have never been loved before. So as you all can see, also it's interesting that it pops up on our values wall. It's discover your purpose. Yeah. And we do that with all of our partners is we want to help them understand and discover their purpose. And that's how we build it. Because if you think about what our educational offerings are, our lived experience leaders too are very big deal with how we build our programming. They've been there. I can't say it because guess what? I've been blessed to never been home. I've never been homeless. But when you have people that have been there, their empathy, their compassion, and their way of doing things, but also they know how to navigate on a way that is palatable and people can actually understand. And that's a big deal as well. So when you build it with all people in mind, including your lived experience leaders, actually giving them the opportunity to help you lead the work.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So we have lots more questions, but audience, how many of you will be making a trip to Richmond, Virginia to find out all about this Family Resource Center? I'm so excited to be able to one day, very, very soon, make a trip because I've heard so much about it and now I actually get to see it through the video. So more questions coming in. Another great question. Are there any barriers that you're seeing having the resource center in a faith community? So another faith-inspired question. So have you seen any barriers about, you're in a faith community, the church is close by, have you seen any barriers?
I don't. And the interesting part about it is that if you saw the outside of the space from an aesthetics perspective, it doesn't present as a church.
Okay.
And so I think that's the first thing is the visual. If you saw the sign, the Liberation Center is top and center, the church is below it, and it's a little. So we are intentional to let everybody know that everybody is welcome. However, the church, before we even got here, was already doing all the work with all the community already. So the food pantry has been in operations for 11 years, and we serve the largest population here in Richmond, and any and everybody comes. For instance, RVA Lee for Safer Streets, he just talked to a group of individuals on Tuesday. He is a Muslim brother, and he says that we all have like-minded goals, and that's to help the community. It has absolutely nothing to do with the faith part of it. And again, we don't force anybody. So you can get food regardless of what you are, even if you're agnostic.
Wow, thank you so much. Someone from Canada said, these partnerships and building with community can work everywhere. So even in the East Coast, even in Canada. So you're showing people right now, Marcel, that building relationships and building community first is available everywhere. And I think that's one of the biggest things is making sure you're building community. And like Pilar saying is, making sure that you show up and you be there if you said you were going to be there, because that trust is so vitally important. And someone also said road trip to Richmond. So I think you're going to have some people that are coming along and are ready to go to Richmond. What we've shared for you in the chat, the FRC video tour is already in the chat that we weren't able to have today, as well as the PowerPoint presentation. So all the documents that were shared during today's presentation, they have been made available for you. Pilar and Marcel, we still have time for more questions for you to share more. So is there anything more that you would like to share that maybe you're thinking about, or just something, a little golden nugget that you have to share?
Well, actually, LaDonna, because we do have our partners that help fund us on, and I don't want to put them on the spot because I didn't prepare them at all. But I know there were some funding questions that were out there, and how do you do those type of things? So if any of our friends from Family Forward Virginia would like to share some insight on the network that we have here in Virginia, but also how we're evaluated per se with them as well, because there is a great partnership in peer-to-peer, and we lean on each other across the state to make sure that we are all strengthening and supporting each other.
Okay, let's see if they're able to come on screen, and we'll bring them up if they're able to speak. Let's see. Let's see where they are.
I think Sharon and Ebony and a couple of them were on.
See. As they're getting ready to come on, Marcel, here's Sharon. Welcome, Sharon. You're here with us. Sharon was like, I was not ready to speak, but
I sure was
I
not.
Well, she
know
knows me well,
I
so
came
she
to
should have
support
known.
him.
Yes, Sharon was like, I was here to support Marcel today. But Sharon, thank you so much for coming on. And I know when I was watching you during the presentation, and you were smiling like a proud mom.
Very, very proud. Yes, I am. I'm very, very proud of them. They're doing a great job. We actually have 7 family resource centers here in the state of Virginia, and we're super excited about all the work that's being done. All of our centers are very, very new, and Marcel and Pilar has come on board and just blown us away. So yeah, we're here and we're the funders, and we're excited to be able to provide those funds for the 7 family resource centers that we have here in us.
Do you have anything else to share about, is there anything just really, really unique and special, about this particular family resource center compared to the other 6 that you have?
Well, each one is very, very different. So I will say that even with the location, it's very, very different. Marcel and the Liberation Family Resource Center, they're in more of an area where they have lots of folks coming in, but we do have some that's in rural areas. And so one thing that I did want to share is that there was a process, like he said, he went through an RFA process and they were selected to become a family resource center amongst the other applicants that we got. There was a 6-month training period during that time where each month the family resource centers went through different trainings in order to prepare them to open up their doors. A few of the things that was required was that they engage folks with lived experience. That was a huge one for us. We did not want family resource centers to open their doors and not hear the voice of the community. They've done an excellent job of speaking with non-traditional partners, traditional partners, and engaging Lex leaders. They actually presented for us today in our peer-to-peer. We've built a peer-to-peer sharing network where the centers are able to come together and share with one another. And Marcella and Pilar and their team of Lex leaders were presenting for us this morning because they've done such an amazing job at onboarding, and not just onboarding, but making sure that the Lex leaders have everything that they need and that they would want to stay and be a part of the work that's being done. We've had a few of our centers that didn't do as well, but I think that when they left that peer-to-peer sharing experience today, I've already gotten emails saying that they feel so different about the work and they understand it better based on the information that was shared with them this morning.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for coming on and just sharing your passion. I know that you have, and just smiling like a happy and
very proud. You guys did an amazing job today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I must say, LaDonna, to have support networks such as Sharon and the Families Forward team. I know Ebony is on as well. You talk about our full-time staff. I actually look at our Families Forward team as being an extension of us. And anytime we call, anytime we say, hey, we have a question. So I know it sounded a little odd to me when I looked over at Pilar and said 2023 and it's just 2024. But I will tell you, it has taken the village of all of us, so Liberation Family Resource Center, along with our other peers across the state, and sharing. So we literally did a road trip probably 3 months ago, where we went to another family resource center well, it's not right down the street, but down the street from us. And we took our entire team, our lived experience leaders and everything, and we learned so much and so much value, and they're very different. So we're in an urban community where people walk through the front door all day, every day. And they're in a rural community, but we were able to take so many things away. We have 138,000 square feet. They have a very small facility, but the smallness of their facility, it felt so much like home. We didn't want to leave. And that made us come back and try to reconsider and figure out, how do we take that same exact feeling back here with a space that's actually pretty big that you have to shrink in order for people to feel like they're at home. So a family resource center to me should be a home, not necessarily a big building.
Wow. And speaking of home and having those values, I can see behind you some of y'all's values. So can you go through, since we do have a little bit more time, can you go through some of those values that you have behind your head? I see fun, excellence, discovering your purpose. There's one directly behind you that I can't see.
Generosity. Serving community. So we can go through them. So yes, we believe, let's start over where Pilar is. Discover your purpose and discover purpose. Our purpose is to help you discover yours. It's pretty simple. When you come in through the door, we want to make sure you know what your purpose is. Because a lot of people are lost, especially if you're in crisis. They don't have a clue. They're hopeless. So we're going to help you figure out what that purpose is. And then we do everything in excellence. We strive for excellence. And so in the process of doing excellence, we simplify processes. We're a very simple organization. It doesn't take bells, whistles, and all this other stuff. We just do it with kindness and respect. We are a very generous organization. So, and it's not just generosity through a financial, but also through our time and our commitment to our community. We love serving our community. We do outreaches all the time where we are out in our communities. We're knocking on doors. We just had an unfortunate situation happen in one of the communities we serve. The next day, we were in the community knocking on doors, just doing wellness checks, what we call a reset with RPD and other resource partners out here. We also have fun. That's a big deal for us. Once or twice a month, we do what we call welcome home parties. And that's exactly what it is. It's just a welcome home party. In this room, anybody that wants to come that is even interested in partnering with us, they come in, they learn about our services, they learn about, but we don't really talk. We just have fun. So we don't sell them anything. So it is your timeshare presentation without the presentation. And then we also are very big with kindness and with love. So our mission is to love people, show kindness, and to serve change. And it's very simple for us. And we just always want to give back. So that's where the generosity part comes in.
So I thought someone was going to ask this question. So, and I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Liberation Center in Richmond, Virginia. But the challenges. What are some of the challenges that you all have experienced? Because those are some things that those that are here online with us today, they might want to know. Like, what are some things that I need to have? What are some red flags that I need to be aware of? Can you share any that you've had? And something that, as you looking as that lighthouse, you're the lighthouse for some of us today. And you can show us the way. So what are some red flags that we need to be prepared for as we go on this journey, or as we're continuing on this journey of, starting our own FRC or expanding it?
Well, I'm going to yield the floor to Ms. Pilar, as she probably can give you a lot of that, but we don't mind being transparent and being very vulnerable in this moment, because this is not easy work. And I don't ever want anyone to understand. I want everybody to understand, yes, we might have this big glorious building and you all saw all the fun that we have and everything else. And even in the missional moment, there were many times along the way where we had to all do a reset. We had to all take a pause. And I'll let you go, Pilar, and talk
Yeah.
about some of those things.
I'm glad you brought that up, LaDonna, because I was actually going to add that, we're talking about all these great positive things, but there are so many of them, but absolutely there are challenges. And I'll start with to look within yourself. We're in this career, this work, this mission. Our hearts, we wear our hearts on our sleeve. We want to help everybody. And that's a big challenge. You're not going to be able to help everybody. For one reason or another, you're just not. But if you lead with sincerity, with consistency, and with trust, that's you have to realize, your own limits and the limits that you're working with. It's hard to say no, or it's hard to let it go. And you just have to be really kind and patient with yourself, and lean on your support network within your own FRC, your Lex leaders, your staff, your leadership. We have work to do 24/7. We could all sit here and literally work 24/7 and still have more work to do, but we can't do that. We have to realize that there's compassion fatigue is real. We have to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of other people. I also want to touch on the relationship between the church and the FRC. I don't come to Liberation Church, and that's not a barrier. And I appreciate that so much. But I feel like part of the family of the whole Liberation umbrella. So you have your foundation, if you have a strong foundation and you have trust in your team, then those challenges and those barriers, roll off a little bit easier. But yeah, you just have to realize your own limits. I think we're very blessed in Richmond, because Richmond it's small. So we have a lot of nonprofits in Richmond. We have a lot of resources that we can lean on. Sometimes that in and of itself is a challenge, because we're helping someone. They may have already gotten resources from someone else. Then we hear that from our partners. Well, we can't help them because of this. So, but then we're having to have those hard conversations with people. But again, if you lead with sincerity and trust, and just really just meeting everyone where they are. We all react to stress differently. We all react to crisis differently. You just have to be patient with yourself.
Yeah, and from a macro level, I'll tell you one of my biggest challenges is making sure that I always feel like I support my team.
Yeah.
I'm not anything greater than my team. And I'm very big on, if I'm a family resource center and the team that I work with every day isn't family, I've missed the mark. So we try to our best to create an environment. So to Pilar's point, she doesn't come to the church, but yet the values of what happens and what we do each and every day, Monday through Sunday, is the same. We love people, period. And if you're a staff, and that's challenging within itself sometimes, because when you're doing this type of work, people can make it a little hard sometimes to love them. But always remember that could have been you or someone else in the process, and it kind of resets how we actually are able to go through. So in human services work, as you already know, and dealing with people in crisis, self-care is a big deal. And from my seat that I sat in, my team will tell you, I preach that all day, every day. So if I can give any of the leaders out there or anybody that's even doing the work, take care of you before you can take care of others. That's the reason why when you get on a plane, the oxygen mask is take care of yourself first before you help your neighbor. Even if that neighbor is your child, you have to be whole and complete before you can help somebody else.
That's amazing. One of my favorite quotes is give yourself to yourself before you give yourself away. And what you were just sharing about made me think of that. And, Marcel, the way that we met back 2 months ago, I think 3 months ago in July, you were taking the National Family Support Network, our Standards of Quality class. And one of the sections in there is called Family Centeredness. And as you were talking about that balance and making sure that you take care of yourself with, even though it's you and Pilar, but you also have your leaders, your parent leaders. When it comes to family centeredness, how do you go about ensuring that if you're going to be open at 6 and 7 o'clock, you want to reciprocate that for the families, for your parent leaders as well, even though they may not be being paid? How do you navigate that even with you and Pilar? You don't want to be there every day until 6 and 7 o'clock. So how do you navigate making sure that while you guys are present, because you need to be present, because you said you were going to be present and they're going to be there waiting for you, how do you creatively make sure that you and Pilar are getting the same kind of treatment that you give for having extended hours to the families that you work with?
I don't know if I can adequately answer it. I think it's just natural. We lean on each other. We are structurally supported as a family.
Yeah.
And even if it's a resource partner, our lived experience leaders, they make and design. So for instance, if I have to go tend to my family, or if I have an emergency, or if I just want to be away for a day, I'm confident that Pilar can lean on our lived experience leaders to be an extension of us, or whoever the case may be in our community, to make sure that we are able to support and continue the work that we do. And I think the other part to that is that because we have systems, the systems allow us to be able to transfer over where Pilar can pick up. If I started with a client and I can't come in, she can pick up with that client based off of notes and what she already knows that we're doing with the same goal in mind. And we introduce everybody to all of us in the beginning, so they know who everybody is and they know that we are a family and a resource. But I would say, I don't know how, I guess we just do it well. So if Pilar texts me and say, hey, Marcel, I got a family emergency, I'm like, do you, I got you, or vice versa. And then it's the same thing with our lived experience leaders. If they call us and say, hey, this is what we got going on, one, I'm going to support them through that process. But then number two, I'm going to actually make sure I fill in the gap where they may have one.
Wow. So there is
Yeah,
again. Go ahead.
just
go ahead.
any manager or any leader, I firmly believe that if you're doing the work, as a lot of people say, in the weeds, and then if Marcel can't do it, if I can't do it, your Lex leaders are going to think, man, they're all over the place. They're working so hard. They do everything. They've got my back. Now I'm going to have their back. And it really is a family. In this work, you just have to have trust. You have to have the trust within your staff, within your team, so that you can share that with the people that you're helping.
Well, thank you all so much. We're actually about time to wrap up, but I can end today's FRC tour by going over each one of your values, discovering your purpose, excellence, generosity, fun, kindness. Those are the things. Oh, and serving community and love. Those are the things that the both of you have exhibited today while showing us who you are. Like literally, I felt that I was in Richmond. I felt that I was walking through the hallways of your FRC at Liberation. So we are so grateful for the Liberation Center and what you all have shared with us today. I know that I'm walking away with so much knowledge and wisdom that I can share even more with our communities. And I bet you, if I asked everybody to come off mute, you would also share with us by a round of applause, by just go ahead right now and show me some reactions, show me some emojis about what you have received today. We got so many people coming in from the chat saying it was awesome. We want all the notes. Thank you so much. This was so blessing. This was great. Thank you for the opportunity to learn and ask questions. And we see all the hard work that you're doing. Many have been inspired. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. That is what you all are doing in Richmond, Virginia. Tiny but mighty. That's what you all are doing in Richmond, Virginia. And I think that we all will be able to also be inspired. So before we leave today, that wraps up our FRC tour for the Liberation. We would invite you to stay along. Felipe, our tech, is going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for you all to join us for our national forum that we have going on. So again, thank you, Marcel. Thank you, Pilar. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Liberation Center. We are so grateful. And thank you for over the 100 people that came to join us for the tour. We are so extremely grateful. And hey, come and see us at the National Family Support Network on our website. We can't wait. And hey, before we leave, Marcel, please go ahead and give us your website or any contact information that they can have. You can also put it in the chat as well.
And come visit us. We were voted best town to visit in 2024 by CNN, so come see us.
Oh gosh, that's exciting.
Yeah, so we are www.liberationrva.org on our web, and we'll get all the other information out to you, LaDon, so you can share with everyone. But I'm gonna tell you, you just did something, and with the words that you all are saying, and I always go back to my feelings, Will, you all just encouraged us to inspire others. So it takes this and this type of work just to hear the words to let us know that I guess even sometimes we try to make sure we get it right. You all were helpful. Thank you for all of you. All of you. I promise. Thank you.
Thank you, Pilar and Marcel, for the work that you do on a daily basis. It's not in vain and it does not go unnoticed. The link is in the chat for you to join and go and see all about Liberation Center. And hey, I will let you all know when I go to Richmond because I'm going to see the Liberation Center. So please go ahead and join us for the National Forum. The link is in the chat and we look forward to seeing you over there. But for all of us here with the National Family Support Network, we thank you and we're so grateful that you joined us today. We will see you next time. Thank you again.
Thanks.